Chapter 1151 Dawn, disturb me when I am playing games. Gu Jingze, I want to eat an apple. Okay. Gu Jingze, get me some milk. Gu Jingze, I want to go upstairs and lie down. Let's go. Gu Jingze. The room was constantly filled with Lin Che's voice and Gu Jingze's movements. Outside, the maids were discussing amongst themselves. Sir is really treating Madam better and better now. Yes, he's so good to her that it's terrifying. I don't know what exactly Sir is thinking. It's frightening just looking at it. I've never seen Sir like this. Hearing the maids speak, Lin Che walked in and saw Gu Jingze still reading some documents. He looked up only when he heard her. Then, he glanced at her and said, "Sit for a while first." Lin Che walked over to him. She had been waiting for him to come and see how she was doing once he was done with his work. She looked up and asked, "Gu Jingze, is there something wrong with you?" Gu Jingze asked, "What's wrong with me?" While Lin Che was speaking, he suddenly pulled her into his embrace. She blinked. She casually put her arm around his neck and sat on his legs while moving about restlessly. Her confinement had just ended, so he still could not touch her. Now that she was rubbing against him like this, his gaze darkened by a few shades. Lin Che asked, "Why are you so good to me? Why are you suddenly asking me this?" He looked at her with his eyebrows raised. She responded, "What's wrong? I'm just curious. Could it be that I treated you badly in the past?" That's not the case either. It's just that you've been behaving even more strangely recently." He shook his head, exasperatedly. Then, he pulled her hand to him and pressed it to his lips briefly before saying, "Is a man still considered a man if he doesn't have a stronger urge to dote on his woman after seeing her in pain because of him?" Lin Che's heart twitched. He said, "I just want to treat you better. That's all." Lin Che asked sweetly, So you want to treat me better only because you feel guilty?" He continued, "How can you call that guilt? It's because I genuinely care about you. But you spoke as if you wanted to treat me better only because you felt guilty after I went through the pain of childbirth. You're misinterpreting my words. I don't care. That's exactly what you meant." "It really wasn't." "Then, what's the reason?" Lin Che pouted and asked, her arm hooked around his neck. Gu Jingze felt vexed as he looked at Lin Che, who was behaving coquettishly. "Because I love you." He leaned in close and spoke gently into her ear. His voice was as charming as that of a spirit calling out to her. Her heart immediately melted when she heard it. She had deliberately twisted his words because she wanted to hear him say those words. It was truly difficult to hear him say the words, "I love you." It seemed that he had said it only a few times because he did not like expressing himself like this either. But now that she had finally heard it, she felt as if she had been briefly electrified. The palpitations emanating from the bottom of her heart moved her deeply for a moment. She smiled sweetly when she looked at him. Her flirtatious behavior also manifested in her expression. He sensed that he was nearly unable to control himself from pinning her down onto the bed and ravaging her completely. But he could not do it at the moment. Gu Jingze brushed lightly against her ear and clutched her shoulders while caressing her all over. His large hands lingered about her upper body, making her feel limp all over. When she looked right into his mesmerizing eyes, she truly felt even more strongly that she was about to let out a whine. This Gu Jingze was seducing her again. Lin Che quickly jumped off the bed and huffed at him. "I won't mess around with you anymore. I'm going to take a look at the baby." Lin Che had not been to the company. Meanwhile, Mu Feiren had just wrapped up work. Lin Che had not officially appeared in front of the media yet. But she heard from Mu Feiren that people had already started sending her many scripts right after filming for the first season had ended. They wanted her to see if there were any scripts she liked. However, she did not look at them as she did not want to be so busy at the time. Lin Che let her do as she wished. If she wanted to act, she could act. If she did not want to act, then she did not have to act. Anyway, Mu Feiren had enough money to spend right now. She did not really want to work so hard to earn money either. But Li Mingyu subsequently called her to ask after her. He said that he had prepared gifts for her. It reminded her that she had promised to produce a game with him but that they had yet to start on it. Lin Che saw that the gifts he had sent her were all luxury goods. They looked incredibly expensive. After flipping through them for a long time, she found many that little girls would definitely like. So, she decided to keep all of them for Xiuan to play with in the future when she could. Since Li Mingyu was so generous towards her, she could not be too miserly either. She quickly went online to search for games, to look at what games people like to play these days. The esports industry was a nascent industry at the moment. When she searched online, she found many types of games. But the most popular type was still the online real-time strategy games where she could choose her character. But after playing for a long time, Lin Che just kept dying. Thus, she gave up after a while. Thereafter, she saw that there were action roleplay games and immediately started playing them. She downloaded the game with the most online plays, the game that seemed to be the most popular, Land Under Heaven. The game was set in something like a fantasy world. People had to level up, survive, work in teams to defeat monsters, and live in the fantasy world. Players could experience various things in the game. They could immerse themselves in the fantasy world and be even more invested in the game. In particular, the combat moves were not simple and it was pretty difficult to execute them too. The various sects served as very powerful checks on each other as well, so there was slightly more equality in the game. Lin Che played for a few days. She had been in a constant state of fighting on her own and leveling up. However, Li Mingyu called her to ask, "What are you up to?" Lin Che said, "I'm playing games." "Oh, you're so free." "I'm working." "What do you know? Know yourself. Know others and you will always be a winner. I have to play before I can know what's the most attractive thing about games." "Alright, then I was wondering why you weren't around the past few days. I missed you dearly, so I wanted to know what you were doing to the point where you even forgot about me. I feel at ease, knowing that you're working hard for the two of us." Why did his words sound so strange? Lin Che had only one thing to say in response. "Get lost." Li Mingyu was about to say something when she immediately cut in, "Don't disturb me when I'm playing games." The moment Li Mingyu heard this, he asked furiously, "What game could be more attractive than me?" "Any game is more attractive than you," Lin Che attacked him without hesitation. Since Li Mingyu was pestering her persistently, she had to tell him. After all, the two of them were planning to produce a game. So, no matter what, it was only right for her to share her thoughts with him after playing games. Upon hearing this, Li Mingyu asked directly, "Which area? What's your username? What are you up to? I'll play with you." Lin Che said to him, "Land Under Heaven, Telecommunications Area 13. My name is, the hope of the entire village. Wait for me." Li Mingyu only reacted after a long time. The hope of the entire village. That's a terrible name. She said, "What? I'm the hope of our village. It means that our village is relying on me to make it prosper." Chapter 1152. So stingy of you to bring such a small gift. The name was a wacky one. She had randomly came up with it without thinking too much. Li Mingyu made disdainful remarks for a long time before hanging up the phone. Lin Che continued to play games. She had to look after the children from time to time. When the children fell asleep, she would continue gaming. She played while looking after the children. It gave her great pleasure as well and she had a very fulfilling day. It seemed that she was almost busier than Gu Jingze. Just then, Lin Che was currently going about her daily routine in the game. She was picking up cow dung when someone suddenly jumped over to her. The following words flashed on the screen: "Your cow dung has been completely stolen." Thereafter, she saw a sparkling treasure horse that was as red as dates appear before her. The man on the horse had white hair and white clothes. He came trippingly with a colorful and auspicious atmosphere about him. His body radiated the light that could control the sky and the sea. There was a monochrome magic cloud hat on his head. A top knot stuck out vertically from the hat. Below, his clothes fluttered about and his robe was black and white. The cape on his back was lined with silver and floated about like falling snowflakes. What the hell? Who was this? Was it a good idea to literally blind people like this? Lin Che looked up to see his name. It was a particularly grandiose name, Enchanting Islet Under the Moonlit Night. Lin Che was about to curse at him when she looked at his horse, his clothes, and all the equipment on his body. The moment she clicked on his name, the data on his equipment appeared. Damn it, this person was decked in equipment with no level. This meant that all the equipment had been bought with money. But the equipment was definitely priceless. Such equipment could only be produced from time to time. Because it required an immense amount of effort and materials, the people who made them were usually reluctant to use it themselves. They would instead sell it at sky-high prices. But this person was dressed in such equipment from head to toe. How much money had he spent on them? It was impossible for him to have created them on his own. A single person needed so many years to create one or two pieces. How could he have created a full set in such a short time? He must have bought them. Sensing that the situation was not good, she hastily retreated. She definitely would not be able to defeat this wealthy player. However, she did not expect this person to use one of his skills to pull her back the moment she turned around. Shoot, you won't even let me run away. What else do you want from me? The hope of the entire village guru, what are you doing? I already let you have my cow dung. If it's not enough, I'll get the cows to give you more, alright? Enchanting islet under the moonlit night, no way. I simply love stealing yours. Continue picking it up. Did he mean that he was going to snatch whatever she picked up? She said, hey, you can't bully people like that. You're the one I'm bullying. Do you have something to say about it? If you're not happy about it, we can go for a round. Hee, go for a round. Putting aside the fact that she was terrible with her hands to begin with, even if she was not, she was destined to die if she went up against him because of his amazing equipment. I'm not fighting with you. I'm leaving. Go and pick up cow dung on your own. Lin Che ran away the moment she finished speaking. Although she was terrible with her hands, she had succeeded in training terrific skills of escape over the past few days. With a few consecutive moves, she immediately ran far away with her levitating skills. However, the person behind her owned a heavenly horse. It was the best horse in the entire game. They had to queue for a long time to buy one from the horse breeder. It went without saying that he had spent a large sum of money on buying it. Thus, once she was done levitating, she looked up only to realize in shock that he was still in front of her. Hey, what the hell? Guru, why are you following me around? I'm inviting you to pick up cow dung with me. It's so boring for me to pick it up alone, right? Why are you running away? How was this an invitation? Furthermore, why did his words sound so familiar? Lin Che, who was a bit slow, thought about it again. Enchanting islet under the moonlit night. You. Li Mingyu. The moment Lin Che realized this, she immediately stopped in her tracks. Then, she looked at his flashy appearance. Coupled with his flamboyant name, she found him even more of an eyesore. She must have been blind. Earlier, she had thought that his appearance was so brilliant. She must have thought that he looked good because she had only noticed the gold glittering all over his body. Because no one would think that wealth did not look good. But now that she was looking at him again, she immediately felt that he seriously looked like a parvenu. He was only short of calling himself, yours truly is simply rich. She immediately looked at him and asked, hey, Li Mingyu. Are you mad? What are you doing? Ha 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 ha, you've discovered me. Get lost. Are you here to mess around with me? You're right, you're right. I'm here precisely to mess around with you. Move aside. Get away from me. Don't hinder me from playing games. Lin Che quickly started walking. Who would have imagined that Li Mingyu would simply follow behind her? He even said while walking, don't run away. Tell me, with your name, what nickname should I give you? Should I call you Hope? The entire village? Or should I call you Shishi? Why don't you just call me Diarrhea? I can do that if you want me to. Get lost. Lin Che said, well, yours is easy. You can call me Shishi. I'll call you Yuayu, little Yuayu. Shut up, I definitely won't go by such a sissy name. Hee, your entire name reminds me of the word sissy. Unless you change your name now. Hey, what's so sissy about it? How is it, sissy? Get back here, explain yourself. The two of them ran wildly. In more precise words, it was Lin Che who was running wildly while Li Mingyu was hot on her heels. Along the way, the people around them watched, enjoying the rare sight of such top-quality equipment. They also speculated about the identity of this wealthy person. Why had they never seen him in their area before? After going offline, Lin Che merely felt beyond frustrated. Subsequently, she decided not to even go online. Meanwhile, Gu Jingze's arm looked as if it did not hurt as much. The moment he came in, he stretched his arm and said to Lin Che, "Black Hawk is outside." Lin Che rushed out to meet him. He looked at the child after entering and said while chuckling, "TCH, TCH. What a pity, what a pity. The child resembles Gu Jingze so much." Behind him, Gu Jingze said, "Move your hand away. Don't randomly touch her." Black Hawk said, "Hey, she's my niece. Why can't I touch her? That's my daughter. Forget the fact that she looks like you. Her temperament and disposition are definitely the same as people from our family. Look, she's so docile. She's not as irritable as you are. If she's similar to your family, then it looks like I'll have to keep her inside for the rest of her life." What? So that she won't get lured away and even be exploited because of her low intellect. Lin Che and Black Hawk stood side by side and shouted at him, "Gu Jingze, what are you talking about?" Gu Jingze looked at Lin Che. "Don't worry, with me around, nothing will happen to you even if you're deceived." "Even so, I won't allow it." Gu Jingze said, "Enough. Since you're here anyway, where's your present? You didn't come here empty-handed, right? Hey, does anyone demand presents as directly as you? Can't you be a bit more polite? I'm worried that if I'm too polite towards you, you won't understand me because of your intellect. Get lost." Despite what he said, Black Hawk, nevertheless, offered up the gift. "This is a piece of jade for my niece. Here, niece, take it and play with it." But Lin Che nearly curled her lips when she looked at it. "Just a piece of jade? You're way too stingy." But Gu Jingze could immediately tell what was different about this piece of jade. This jade can't be taken from that jade ring to create a piece of emerald inlaid with chicken blood jade, right? What? Chapter 1153. A miserly couple. Lin Che asked from the side. Gu Jingze said, "This is a rarely seen piece of chicken blood jade, but this chicken blood jade is different from others because it's embedded in emerald stone. This green jade has been affected by the chicken blood jade for years and turned into a faint blue color, so you can't tell that it's emerald in color. You can't tell from its outer appearance. You'll only be able to see that it's green if you break it. Thus, this jade is one of a kind. You can say that people like it more because it's rare. Back then, this jade was gifted to the most powerful woman in the dynasty as a tribute to none other than the Empress Dowager. It was used as a metaphor to describe how she was a fresh flower in a green field with no other like her. It was later made into a jade ring that subsequently broke into pieces. But it was still placed in the museum as part of its collection." Lin Che looked at Gu Jingze. "Wow, that's amazing." Lin Che immediately beamed with joy in a vain manner. She grabbed the jade pendant and smiled. She said, "Since you're already here, don't stand on such ceremony." Wait a minute. It suddenly occurred to Lin Che. If it was stored in a museum as part of its collection, then now. She looked up. "Where did you get it from?" "Oh, I was thinking that it's pointless to buy you anything since you have everything at home. Thus, I decided to look for something special. I went to the place with the most collectibles to look around. I said that I wanted to give someone a gift and specially asked the museum director for it. God knew how he asked for it. He even went to the place which collected the most things. Of course, the museum had the most collectibles since it specialized in collecting things. But which normal person would go there to look for a present?" Lin Che said, You. Is this legal or not? Go and return it. Return it." Black Hawk asked, "Why is it illegal? He gave it to me." "That's impossible. It's a museum." "But that doesn't mean it's illegal." Just then, Gu Jingze said from the side, "Forget it." He took the item and looked at the exquisite little Buddha. He could tell that the carving work was not bad. The carver had probably put a lot of thought into it as well. Of course, since it was such a good piece of jade, one would truly be wasting such a rare item if he was not careful when carving it. He said, "That's enough. It looks quite nice on her. Let her keep it. She looked down and stroked the little baby whose eyes were currently darting about. The child would definitely be a beauty. At such a young age, her double eyelids were deep and her exquisite eyes were extremely charming. Inside, her pupils were pitch dark and sparkled like pearls. They attracted affection at one glance. Black Hawk said, hee hee. Ultimately, my gift is still great, right? Gu Jingze said, it's pretty good. Tick, tick, you dote on your family's little princess so much. You'll keep it since it's good, right? He probably would not want it if it was not meant for his daughter. Gu Jingze looked up and asked, isn't this something you should do as an uncle? Hey, it was so difficult for me to get this. Don't take your undeserved gain for granted. Although Black Hawk had gone slightly overboard, she understood his sincerity. Now, she thought about what she could give him, but she really did not know what Black Hawk liked. Wait, there was something that she was absolutely sure he liked. Mu Feiren. She remembered this and smiled at him. She said, by the way, when are you free? We can go on a trip together. A trip? That's boring. Forget it if you don't want to go. In any case, I'm planning to ask Feiren to come along. We'll take our children on a trip. In the past, we used to find a place to spend our vacation in every year. We haven't had the chance to do that after our pregnancy. The moment Black Hawk heard Mu Feiren's name, his eyes began to shine. Really? Where are you guys going to spend your vacation? Have you made preparations already? Hee hee, I'll let you know when the time comes. If you want to go, remember that you'll have to pay for all the costs of transport, accommodation, and food. Hey, on what basis? Black Hawk asked. Lin Che said, that's the rule. Forget it if you don't want to go. Black Hawk looked at Lin Che before looking at Gu Jingze. Sure enough, a daughter who has wedded no longer belongs to her family. Gu Jingze said, we have to leave our money for your nephew and niece. We must save up. Black Hawk chuckled, your money is enough for them to spend over several lifetimes. Stop talking about money to fob me off. Alright, I'll think about it and look at my schedule. Lin Che knew that this meant that he had agreed. She smiled mischievously. Then, she leaned against Gu Jingze and said, don't you think I'm becoming more and more hardworking and thrifty in running our household? Yes, indeed. Black Hawk looked at the married couple lividly. This isn't being hardworking and thrifty. This is what they call cheating other people, humph. Lin Che went online to look at places that they could go to now. There were many places that were suitable for them to spend their vacation. Since they were bringing their children with them, they had to consider what the children would like too. She chose a few places and was planning to discuss it with Mu Feiren. Now that the child had been born and Mu Feiren was done filming, they could probably go out and roam around together. Right now was a good time. That night, she went online to play games again. The moment she went online, someone located her and chased after her. Before she could even react, the person who had located her and chased after her flew directly downwards. At one glance, Lin Che saw the other party start setting off fireworks on the spot. The fireworks momentarily flew around her and a few sentences immediately appeared on the screen. Player Enchanting Islet under the moonlit night has set off one set of perfect fireworks for player the hope of the entire village. All players in Chang'an are rewarded with double experience points for 1 hour. Player Enchanting Islet under the moonlit night has set off one set of love you for 10,000 years fireworks for player the hope of the entire village. All players in Chang'an are rewarded with double experience points for 1 hour. Numerous lines of similar words immediately appeared in succession. At once, Lin Che's vision went blurry. What the hell, Li Mingyu, what was he up to again? Li Mingyu, you're messing around. Lin Che looked around and asked the other players. These fireworks were bought with money, though they were not expensive. However, not many people in the game would randomly set off a bunch of fireworks for no reason either. Because after setting the fireworks, all the people in the same city would obtain double experience points. Thus, many people would come to this city to benefit from it when they saw a player set off fireworks. At the moment, Li Mingyu was still setting off fireworks. Someone had already shouted in that world, enough, enough. I have enough for 24 hours. Tycoon, continue setting off fireworks tomorrow. Someone else said, wait for me. I'm in the middle of a huge battle. I'm going to Chang'an soon. Wait a bit for me before you continue setting off fireworks, tycoon. While everyone was worshipping the rich man, Lin Che was currently chased around and pestered by Li Mingyu. Lin Che asked, "Have you gone mad, Li Mingyu? Do you want to die?" Li Mingyu chuckled. "Is it fun? Aren't the fireworks pretty? They're my presents for you. Get lost." Because of what he was doing, her terribly embarrassing name circulated in this world for a long time. But Li Mingyu was evidently still not planning to give up. He kept setting off fireworks and persistently did so. The players in the world immediately started speculating. Who's the new tycoon? Is he planning to set off fireworks for the whole day? Tycoon, please be my sponsor. Who's the hope of the entire village? Why is the tycoon so doting on her? Shit, I just saw the top player on the wealth ranking, riding on the wind across the world, get squeezed out of first place. Enchanting Islet under the moonlit night, is currently in the first place. Chapter 1154 Lin Che, why did you kill me? This player is a new one, right? He shot to first place so quickly. How much exactly did he spend? I heard that the player previously in first place spent a few $1,000,000 in a year. So he spent a few $1,000,000 within a few days. Just when everyone was still speculating, Li Mingyu had already started doing something else. He immediately said to the world, "Everyone, the prize for the battle this time is a phoenix rainbow garment. I'm planning to give it to a special woman. I'm willing to offer $2 million to anyone who is willing to sell it to me. Please contact me if you get it." $2 million. Was he serious? This immediately caused a commotion among the factions currently involved in the huge war. Ordinary people had to fight for so long to get $2 million. If they could get $2 million in one war, what could they have against it? In a short time, the people who had thrown themselves into the war became even more invested. Now, this war was no longer an issue of glory but was linked directly to money. None of them were professional esports players. They did not want to get any prize money for esports either. It was true madness that they could play games and actually win $2 million with one battle. As for Lin Che, she had gone completely insane. All of a sudden, countless people came to add her as a friend. She felt that even her own computer was about to explode. She looked at the friend requests. Without even knowing who she was, many people were saying, "Beauty, let's get to know each other. Tycoon, let's be friends. Tycoon, can you introduce me to the guru?" What the hell, she was just here to play a game. She did not want to cause a disturbance. This troublemaker, Li Mingyu. He was so good at finding things for her to do. She immediately dragged the chat box to the side and asked Li Mingyu, "Hey. Do you have nothing to spend your money on?" "Yes. How did you guess? You're so smart." Lin Che felt that she should not continue talking to him. Otherwise, she would die of anger. Just then, someone approached Lin Che all of a sudden. "Hey, I want to discuss something with you." "What's up?" Lin Che looked at the dialogue box moving towards her. It was someone who looked familiar but whom she did not know. He said, "My girlfriend likes this piece of clothing. Can't you tell your boyfriend not to get it?" He's not my boyfriend. He's a lunatic. I can't control him," Lin Che said. "Rubbish. Why would he spend so much money on you if he isn't your boyfriend?" "I already told you that he's crazy. How would I know why he's spending so much money?" Lin Che said truthfully. While speaking, she took a look at his ranking and saw that this person was, riding on the wind across the world, the former first place on the wealth ranking. Just then, a female character appeared beside him. She seemed to be a supporting character. She was dressed in casual clothes at the moment and looked very beautiful. Her name matched his name. She was called, Rain Falling on Earth. This was probably his girlfriend. But it angered Lin Che when she came up directly to her and said, "Your boyfriend is a bit too much. He stole something I liked the moment he came. Don't you think there's something wrong about that?" Hey. The thing that she liked was the reward for winning the battle. Anyone could vie for it. How was he stealing something of hers? Both, Rain Falling on Earth, and, Riding on the Wind Across the World, had always been of unscalable heights in this game. The two of them had been together for 2 years and behaved flamboyantly everywhere they went. Everyone who met them knew who they were. They played and played, not expecting someone to suddenly appear now and steal the entire show. Furthermore, rain falling on Earth was usually extremely cocky, no matter who she spoke to in the game. This was because her man was the leader of the largest gang in the area. Thus, no one dared to bully her wherever she went. However, Lin Che did not fall prey to this. She looked at her directly and said, "Firstly, he's not my boyfriend. Secondly, that item doesn't belong to you, so you can't call it stealing. That's enough. I'm leaving. If you guys are looking for trouble, go and look for Enchanting Islet under the moonlit night. Don't come looking for me." Who could have imagined that she would bluntly say just when Lin Che was about to leave, "If he's not your boyfriend, you must be his mistress. Does he intend to be your sponsor? He spent so much money." These words were much more offensive. The character that Lin Che was playing was one with immense fighting prowess. She looked extremely heroic and valiant. She had a spear in her hands and would simply pick up the spear and start fighting whoever she was faced with. However, she rushed forward and was just about to attack when the man and woman charged at her together. Within a few moves, they beat Lin Che's character to death on the ground. Shit. Lin Che was so angry that she shouted in front of the computer, "I can't believe this. 2 against 1, how can they bully me like this?" But the crux was that her character still did not have any good equipment. She had just advanced to a new level and did not have anything. The movements available to her were also terrible. She felt extremely furious. Hearing this, Gu Jingze looked up from where he had been reading documents behind her. What happened? Lin Che turned around and said, "I'm going to die of anger." She immediately narrated the series of events and said in disbelief, "It had nothing to do with me. Some people have money to burn and nothing to do. He even dragged me down with him." Gu Jingze scowled. This Li Mingyu was a bit of a troublemaker. He said, "Let me have a look." However, he saw Li Mingyu talking to her when he went online. "Lin Che, don't worry. I've avenged you. Why did you let them kill you? They were not just killing you. Forget the fact that you died. The crux is that they humiliated me. Seriously, I had to take revenge. Earlier, I told everyone that I would give $10,000 to anyone who could kill the 2 of them each time. I'll see how they can continue playing this game." Lin Che had a look of incredulity on her face. However, Gu Jingze picked up the keyboard and started typing furiously away. After some time, he typed out a sentence and sent it. "Yes. Hitting my butt is akin to slapping your face." Lin Che felt even more incredulous. This time, Li Mingyu felt that something was off. Hey, I'm standing on your side. You can't say that about me." "Where are you?" "I'm in Guanghan Mansion." "Wait for me." Gu Jingze reached the location at lightning speed. After briefly examining the game, he immediately launched a skill. Behind him, Lin Che instinctively cried out in surprise, "Wow, Gu Jingze. How did you know how to play this?" Gu Jingze said, "I didn't." "Then, how come you can execute moves?" "The guide." Lin Che took a closer look. Indeed, the guide was still open at the side. He looked at the guide while playing. Gu Jingze, who had a highly retentive memory, was truly making full use of his natural advantage right now. In no time, he arrived at the place only to see that Li Mingyu was currently fighting a monster. As expected, with his suit of almighty equipment, it was a breeze for him. He defeated the monster very quickly and did not even need to deal a second blow to kill it. When he saw Lin Che, a line of words popped up above his head. "Shishi, you're here. Shishi, you didn't see how I avenged you earlier. I was particularly dashing." Lin Che was breaking out in cold sweat as she watched from behind. She could sense that a chill seemed to be emanating from Gu Jingze's entire body in front of her. But he remained expressionless. It could be that this was merely her own imagination. At this moment, just when he had said one sentence, Gu Jingze had already rushed towards him and attacked him with the spear. Li Mingyu immediately shouted, "Hey, Shishi! Why did you hit me?" Of course, Gu Jingze would not look at what he was saying. However, only 1 bar of blood disappeared after he attacked him with the spear. After all, Li Mingyu's equipment was too robust. Chapter 1155. Alright, I want to make a comeback and get rid of Starlight. However, Gu Jingze did not use much force against him either. Subsequently, Li Mingyu immediately came up to him. But he was also cursing while doing it. Lin Che, have you gone mad? At the same time, he also started to defend himself and actively initiated attacks too. But this game was very fair in reality. Because even if one's equipment was exceptionally powerful, it did not mean that he could definitely kill thousands of people. One's skills and control were still extremely important. However, only 1 bar of blood disappeared after he attacked him with the spear. After all, Li Mingyu's equipment was too robust. Thus, Gu Jingze attacked him relentlessly. He circled around him numerous times, dodging while making moves. In a short time, Li Mingyu started to utter profanities. Lin Che, what's the matter with you? Hey, Lin Che, good on you. What the hell, Lin Che, your hands are so quick. Lin Che, you're so good at this. How did you die earlier? After shouting for a long time, he seemed to realize what was going on. Ah, damn it, you're not Lin Che. I'm sure Lin Che doesn't have such skills. Who the hell are you? Gu Jingze, why are you poking your nose into other people's business? Gu Jingze, just you wait. Say something. Do you think I wouldn't know it's you just because you're staying silent? His microphone was now turned on. At the moment, they could hear sounds of his furious typing and his swearing at Gu Jingze from the computer. But Gu Jingze remained unflustered as if he could not hear his voice. Although his blood meter lowered at a slightly slower pace, Li Mingyu was unexpectedly about to die. From where she was, Lin Che had not clearly seen what Gu Jingze was doing earlier. He suddenly used the skill of attraction to swiftly pull Li Mingyu back towards him just when he was about to escape injured. Shit. They heard Li Mingyu's blood-curdling screech from the computer. Thereafter, on the screen, Li Mingyu's character collapsed onto the ground and died. Li Mingyu's cry kept reverberating afterward. Gu Jingze, you weirdo. Why did you kill me? Just you wait. Gu Jingze, what's the fun in hiding behind Lin Che? If you're capable enough, come out and let's have a just and honorable battle. I was hesitant to attack you since you're a woman. Play with your own character if you have the guts. Lin Che widened her eyes and looked on. Only now did she know what expert moves looked like. Every single move was so precise and Gu Jingze perfectly predicted his opponent's next move too. He immediately knew what the opponent intended to do and was able to negate that move. He remembered everything clearly. He also moved around in a very flashy manner and managed to evade nearly every attack from the opponent. While watching his hands move swiftly across the keyboard earlier, Lin Che felt dazed by the speed of his hands in moments of emergency. Gu Jingze truly looked mad when he was focused. But at the same time, he was also very alluring. Lin Che let out a shout of awe. She looked at Gu Jingze and said, "Ah, you're so good at this." Gu Jingze turned around and said, "Wait a moment. Let me finish up here." Lin Che was confused. What else did he want to do? Wasn't the opponent already dead? Gu Jingze then turned around once on the spot, following which a few items dropped into his inventory. These were the 3 pieces of equipment that had fallen from Li Mingyu's body. All of them were the equipment with no levels. He had dropped 3 of them only because Gu Jingze had tormented him for too long. Lin Che suddenly cried out in surprise, "Wow! You attacked him until his equipment fell. Wow, you're way too good at this." While hugging Gu Jingze, she moved closer to him and pecked him. After killing him, he even stole his equipment. Li Mingyu was probably going to die of anger on the other end. However, what made him even angrier was what happened next. Later, Gu Jingze said directly online, "I'm trading level-less gear, 3 of them, for equipment that suits me. Send me a private message if you want it. If I like yours, I'll just give you mine." The online world went into an immediate frenzy. Seeing this, everyone thought, hey, wasn't this the level-less equipment Enchanting Islet under the moonlit night had been wearing earlier? Thereafter, Enchanting Islet under the moonlit night shouted angrily online, "Just you wait. Don't let me see you again. I'll kill you each time I see you." Everyone understood what was happening when they thought about it. This gear had fallen off. Enchanting islet under the moonlit night had been killed. How did the hope of the entire village suddenly become so formidable? She could even kill a tycoon who wore leveless gear. However, rain falling on earth had just been going around and talking about how she had killed the hope of the entire village within a short time. What exactly was going on? Lin Che went offline, feeling perfectly content. When she saw her phone ring, she immediately knew that Li Mingyu was calling her. She huffed and left the call unanswered. She merely hugged Gu Jingze and asked, "How did you do it? You're so amazing." Gu Jingze said, "I looked at the manual." Fine, she had read the manual before too, but her hands could not coordinate well with her brain. She could not do what she intended to do and could not think about what she was doing. Anyway, she simply remained terrible at controlling her moves. Sure enough, there were some outstanding people who would shine wherever they went. Lin Che said, "I think I know roughly how to create games." Gu Jingze asked, "How?" "Create conflicts. Something is appealing only if there are clashes. People should be allowed to fight in the game and each person should be able to participate. There will be people where there is gossip. Whether it's the entertainment industry or in the game industry, this is always the case." Gu Jingze smiled and looked at her. As expected, this girl was quite insightful. But he would not let her be so proud either. He pinched her nose. "At least you're not that stupid. Come on, really, I'm a very talented person too, you know." Lin Che walked out along with him. In the company, Yu Minmin called her to ask if and when she was planning to make her comeback. But Lin Che had not thought about this. It was mainly because she had been resting at home and had not appeared on television for a very long time. It occurred to her that in the event that she made a comeback, one move would mean she had to continue appearing on television non-stop. She was actually a bit lazy to move. But she could not stay at home forever either. She had to propel her other careers forward by relying on one career. Lin Che said, "Hey, does the company still need me now? I've been away for so long. I keep wondering if my fans have already forgotten me again." Yu Minmin said, "That might actually happen if you don't come back." "What?" Starlight recently debuted a new group. It's so showy. The female lead in the earlier television series that went up against Raiment of Rainbows and Feathers, the series, Glory. She's been very popular these days. I heard that she's going to attend some film festival and walk the red carpet in a few days. It seems that she's all ready to break into Hollywood and wants to go the route of an international movie star. She's in the limelight. It seems that Starlight is trying to suppress us." Lin Che said, "How extravagant. Well then, I'll see when I should make my comeback and find a suitable way to do it." Other people could not stir her up like this. But this Starlight had triggered immense dissatisfaction in her. If Starlight trampled all over her, she would definitely be unhappy. Yu Minmin smiled and said, "Just wait. I'll come up with a proposal starting tomorrow." Chapter 1156. Perhaps she is just playing around. Lin Che finally picked up Li Mingyu's call at night. Li Mingyu huffed over the phone, "You still dare to answer my call, Lin Che?" Lin Che laughed cheekily, "I never picked up your call. It's only because you kept calling and it got annoying, so I picked it up. What do you want?" Li Mingyu said, "Just tell me if that was Gu Jingze today." "Why do you think that it was him? Why can't it be me?" "Of course not. If you were that clever, you wouldn't have been beaten to a pulp previously." "Hey. And it's only a pervert like Gu Jingze who could do something like that. He even tried to kill me. Ha, immature." He was dissing Gu Jingze for being childish at this point. Shouldn't he take a look at the childish things he had done? Li Mingyu was angry. He was having a good time inside initially and was happily flaunting. He let people look up to him as a god, but was unexpectedly beaten up by Gu Jingze. All his equipment ended up being sold off. Although Gu Jingze went offline after that, everyone was still in admiration. They said that someone managed to record the scene of his beating. It was soon uploaded on the forum and people immediately took a liking to Gu Jingze. They even wanted to know who exactly was the village hope. They wanted to get in touch with him and ask him if he had any interest in competitive gaming. How could Gu Jingze ever have an interest in competitive gaming? Their wish would never come true. But what made Li Mingyu angry was that everyone was now saying, the village hope, was a god who was better than professional gamers while he was like a clown getting the beating he deserved. Damn it, how was this possible? Lin Che said, I didn't play. So what now? That guy who wants to compete with you for the grand prize, the first rich guy. How is he now? Ha, compete with me. It's definitely mine. Who are you giving it to when you get it? Humph, I'll throw it away. To throw away something worth 2 million yuan. Li Mingyu said proudly, I said that I would give it to you. But it's too bad that you joined forces with your husband to beat me. Humph, you're not getting it, I'm throwing it away. Lin Che said, okay, I'll still congratulate you on winning. That supposed first rich guy was also unlucky to have met Li Mingyu. He was no ordinary rich man. He definitely did not mind that little bit of money. They could not compete with him in terms of money. Lin Che sighed and said to him, oh right, about this game. I have an idea for the introduction. I'll tell you about it when I visit your company. Okay, I'm free tomorrow. You can come over. Lin Che could not help but respect Li Mingyu for being able to establish such a big company in a short time. The building was completely finished and filled with employees. It did not look like a company that just started 2 months ago. Li Mingyu was already waiting when Lin Che arrived. When Li Mingyu saw Lin Che, he said, wow, not bad. You recovered well. Lin Che said, cut the crap. Let's just get to the main point. Tisk, I've never met someone who would get angry at a compliment like you. You should see how women get so excited when I compliment them. They wear so little all because they want my compliments. What about you? Yeah, since many women are vying for your compliments, I'm not going to join the crowd. About the game, Lin Che took out her file and talked about her idea. First of all, it would be balanced. Next, the content would be diverse. The positioning had to be accurate. Then, the fight scene had to be intense and there had to be a strength contest. Li Mingyu said, wouldn't this not attract girls? I'd like to make more games targeted at girls. Oh my, just think about entering a game filled with women. Hey, we are making a game, not a harem. What women? Furthermore, you have too little understanding of women now. Girls these days play games and they also like games with competitive fighting. We also like violent roles. Alright, we'll go with that. So you like violent roles, eh? Get lost. However, Lin Che thought that there would definitely be a certain degree of difficulty, but it was necessary. They should not be as professional as Dota. They had to at least be like LOL, acceptable by both guys and girls. After talking for a day, Li Mingyu immediately said, okay. I'm prepared to invest 2 billion yuan in the introduction. You can start to form a team tomorrow. Li Mingyu was really a classic example of plunging right into the job. Or it was because he was rich, so he did not care about anything else. Neither did he care if he made a loss. Anyway, he could just quit if he wanted to. They had human resources. She just needed to pick a few from the company. Lin Che said, alright, I'll go and select some people. Li Mingyu immediately sent a director down with Lin Che to conduct the selection. The director was extremely respectful towards Lin Che. He stayed behind, bowing and nodded all the way. At the Human Resources Department, the HR manager recommended a list. Lin Che selected a few members to make up the promotional marketing team, but she had not found a production team. She felt that the company's production team was not very good as they stuck to the rules too much. Thus, their thinking would not necessarily be better than an outsider's. Whatever they came up with could be too cliché. They could find a good team outside that would have stronger and more creative ideas. She made up her mind and met up with the marketing team first. She said to everyone, hi, everyone. I suppose you all know who I am, so I will skip the introduction. We'll get to know each other more in the future. The director said, Miss Lin, this is our marketing department's head, Chen Lanshan. Chen Lanshan seemed like a proud person. She looked at Lin Che, who was a celebrity who suddenly started collaborating with the director. Perhaps the director harbored impure intentions. A wallflower was running a company and a business. Was that possible? Chen Lanchen remained proud and only smiled at her. Lin Che said, "Okay, Manager Chen. The first thing we need to do is give our team a name. We are a subsidy of your original company and now we're here on our own to set up an office. You guys can brainstorm and think of a bright-sounding name. Let's not talk about anything else for now. If everyone knows of a gaming production team, please send their details to me too." "Alright, that's all." Lin Che did not sidetrack too much and she soon adjourned the meeting. They thought that she was going to talk for the whole day and that would not have been fun. But Lin Che was also a hard worker who did not like to drag things. Furthermore, she was already busy, to begin with. She had been out the whole day and wanted to go home and see her baby as soon as possible. She left after the meeting ended. The people behind watched Lin Che leave and said, "It seems like she isn't too strict. That's not too bad. Or perhaps she isn't taking this seriously, so she doesn't care. She just needs to say a few words and leave while handing everything to us. If this is how it's going to be from now on, we're doomed too." Chapter 1157. What time is it to still be so passionate? Exactly. Maybe it's because our boss wants to please a beautiful woman, so he intentionally gave her one project. On the other hand, she wants to get close to our boss, so she intentionally collaborates with him for a project anyway. Somebody else's love affair got us implicated. Everyone talked and laughed. They looked at Chen Lanchen. "We're still okay. It's just Manager Chen. She was doing just fine at the food program and she got pulled into this game." Chen Lanchen kept a cool demeanor, picked up the documents, and walked away. The company anticipated Lin Che's return very much. They prepared at the office for the whole day. Glorious Star's movement recently had become fiercer and they were starting to worry. The company's competitiveness and reputation were all good in the circle. Although they relied on the name of the studio, they were never afraid of anyone. But it was impossible not to worry. Glorious Star had several newcomers. Wu Yufei was chosen as one of the best newcomers. That was also due to online fame and because that previous huge IP was popular. There was suddenly a lot of talk and exposure. A newcomer group came out shortly. One of the most popular girls was said to be the school belle in her day. The other was apparently the most beautiful dancer. This immediately gained a lot of attention. Yu Minmin knew that Glorious Star would immediately send their team to participate in the upcoming film festival. On their side, Mu Feiren and her team would also take part. They had already been internally selected for the Best Internet Drama of the Year and for a creative award. The internal department let the few main creators take part. Actually, Lin Che was also one of the main creators. Thus, Yu Minmin allowed Lin Che to go along. It was considered her direct comeback. Lin Che also understood Yu Minmin's idea. Their web series succeeded and she appeared together with it. There was a lot of talk and exposure too. Ultimately, she would be part of the spotlight no matter what. Lin Che was going away for the festival. Gu Jingze could not bear to leave her and especially sent her to the airport himself. Lin Che walked out, hung her arms around his neck, and stood on tiptoes to look at him. "I'll be back in 2 days. Okay, mind your body. Don't worry, you should mind your body too. Don't move your arm around too much. It takes 100 days for bones to knit and tendons to heal." Although he looked mostly recovered, he still should not use too much strength. Gu Jingze simply pulled her in and planted a wet kiss on her lips. It was very light, but his tongue was already entering. He sucked on her lip before gently releasing her. Lin Che's face was red. Yu Minmin and Mu Feiren, who were behind, already did not want to say anything. Nan Gongyu straight away coughed dryly and turned away. Didn't they already have 2 kids? He was still so passionate, although she was only going away for 2 days. And they were still alive. They were still looking. Such a wet kiss, even the tongue could be seen. Was this really a good idea? Gu Jingze clearly treated them as if they were invisible. He spoke to Lin Che and left. Yu Minmin said, "Oh my god, Lin Che. Are we invisible to you too?" Nan Gongyu said, "Nonsense. Perhaps not to her, but we are absolutely invisible to Gu Jingze. Let's go, let's go." Lin Che blushed and said, "What? It was just a kiss." Yu Minmin said, that was just a kiss. It was so deep that we could even see your tongues. It was too wet, too passionate, too. That was absolutely R-rated. It was not that obvious. Lin Che protested and said, you definitely saw it wrong. It wasn't that passionate. Mu Feiren laughed and said, all right, you probably didn't notice because you were too engrossed. But it makes sense. You couldn't not be engrossed by a wet kiss from President Gu. We understand. You don't have to explain it. You guys are ganging up against me. Ha 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 ha. The group laughed and talked as they walked towards the rest of the company. The group saw Lin Che, whom they have not seen in a long time, as they walked over. The last time they saw her, her belly was already showing. Now, she was suddenly slender. Standing among the other women, her figure inevitably amazed people. Hey, she did not look like someone who just had a baby at all. That pair of legs was still so slim and her waist was still so tiny. Needless to say, her face was still so fair. When her slender fingers moved, she looked like a goddess. Lin Che's postpartum recovery rate was fast. She really was the envy of many women. Sister Che. Sister Che, you're back. Sister Che, you look great. Exactly. Sister Che, what is your secret? Lin Che smiled helplessly. I don't have any secrets. What secret could there be? She also thought that some female celebrities looked good after childbirth because they definitely did not eat when they were pregnant. The quick recovery was probably because they were harsh on themselves. Even if she wanted to do the same, Gu Jingze would never allow it. She indeed did not diet or exercise. She only lost weight naturally. Perhaps it had to do with her physique. Perhaps she could not take in nutrients well and most of what she ate would end up in the toilet bowl. When she said that to Gu Jingze, he scolded her and told her not to spout nonsense. She asked, why don't you take my stool to test if you don't believe me? I bet it won't be any less different than what I ate. Gu Jingze. Everyone was initially worried. Lin Che came out not long after childbirth and they were worried that people would be able to find out. But looking at her now, all their worries disappeared. She did not look any different from before. On the plane, everyone discussed the itinerary. They planned to drive themselves down to the hotel and then go to the venue after dressing up. However, they did not expect to be surrounded after getting off the plane. Some of the media already knew that Lin Che and Mu Feiren's crew would be at the film festival. This film festival was not that important. It was a festival created by the court and the judges were all from the court, not the public audience. Thus, many people did not think much of it and the audience did not bother with the results. Anyway, they could tell who was going to win when they saw the nominees. However, this also did not stop them from wanting to see their favorite celebrities. Thus, media coverage was still plenty. After a while, the horde soon made it difficult for the airport to control, especially when the fans further away saw the media since they also joined in. Wu Yufei's crew got down from the same plane and were puzzled. Who is in front? Why are there so many people? Looks like it is Mu Feiren and the rest. Humph, the expired good is here to get attention, isn't she? The agent from behind said. Chapter 1158 Bad Luck Meeting Lin Che. Wu Yufei heard this and was worried. Brother Liang, is it a good idea to rush down here together with them? Don't we have to go another route? Her agent, Liang Shan, was Glorious Star's top agent. Glorious Star especially poached him over so that he could grow some of the celebrities here. He did not disappoint Glorious Star. Sure enough, he managed to raise a few newcomers and make a name for Glorious Star in the industry. Liang Shan was no saint. He looked at Wu Yufei and said, what are you afraid of? I told you that they are expired goods. Don't be scared, you're still young and you'll have more time to be famous than they do. It's just one expired female star and you're already so scared. You're too cowardly. Be braver, you hear me? Don't be a disgrace to Glorious Star. Hearing his words, Wu Yufei could only straighten up and continue walking. Since her agent already said that, she could only follow. She was worried that the media would say that she was seeking attention, so she did not dare to come out together. However, Liang Shan did not allow her to evade. She could only harden her skin and continue. Sure enough, at this moment, the media soon discovered Wu Yufei. Isn't that Wu Yufei over there? Oh my, it is. Everyone looked at her. Wu Yufei also heard people calling her name and felt that she probably wouldn't lose out on much either. Liang Shan also stood there and asked, "You see, the one who should be afraid is Mu Feiren. We have nothing to fear." Mu Feiren saw Wu Yufei over there. She said to Lin Che beside her, "Do you see them? An inevitable clash between enemies." Lin Che took a look and said to Mu Feiren, "There is a good saying. Outfit clashes are not scary. Being ugly is scary. It's the same in our industry. Bumping into one another is not scary, but being less famous than the other is scary." Lin Che said, "Now is the time when popularity is tested. We're not afraid." Mu Feiren smiled and saw the reporters approach them. They have not seen Lin Che in a long time and they asked, "Lin Che, it's been a long time. Where have you been? Take a guess." Lin Che smiled. The reporter said, "Some people guessed that you went off to get married." "Well, I did not," Lin Che replied. "So what have you been up to?" Lin Che said, "I went to be a producer, haven't I? I am back here with my results today." "No way, the fans don't believe you." "Fine, fine, fine. What do they believe in?" "They believe that you got married." "I really have not. She was married long ago." "So you are?" "Hee, I was indeed with a guy." Lin Che's reply shocked everyone. Was she admitting to a relationship? Every time she worked with someone, there would always be some kind of rumor. Back then, it was even more so with Gu Jingze. The rumor lasted for so long but she never once admitted to it. Now, she was actually admitting to it. Who is it? Is he inside or outside the circle? Are you going to get married? Are you going to have kids? These reporters immediately became busybodies and bombarded her with questions. Lin Che laughed cheekily. "Well, it's still a secret for now. I can only hope everyone can give me a little freedom. I hope to be able to have a relationship like a normal person. That is why I left for so long. Thank you, everyone." An official relationship. What a killer. She only said that she was in love but did not mention who it was with. However, it was already enough to send the media into a frenzy. This was going to be tomorrow's headline for sure. Lin Che was too explosive. The first thing she did was to admit that she had a boyfriend. Everyone started to speculate and wonder who exactly was her boyfriend. The media immediately started to come up with possible candidates. They thought about all the possible guys in and out of the industry. But there really was no certainty. Because many of Lin Che's good friends within the industry were males and she was rather close to them. They also did not look like they would be involved with her romantically. Outside the industry, those good friends were also out of the question. They did not look too bad and some even confessed to her before, but it couldn't be any of them realistically. Lin Che naturally was unaware that her casual words caused a speculative wave outside in a short time. She only smiled at everyone and excused herself as she continued on her way to get ready. How could the media be willing to get left behind? They chased after her all the way until the entrance of the airport. They didn't even look back at Wu Yufei. Wu Yufei was ignored by the media. She stood there frustratedly as a cold breeze grazed past her. No way, was she invisible? Wu Yufei almost wanted to cry. Brother Liang, is my popularity that bad now? Am I not getting enough exposure recently? Liang Shan also did not expect this. He went outside to ask around. Who is that? Brother Liang, it's Lin Che. Oh, please. Liang Shan clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. This Lin Che. However, he could only let go helplessly. He said to Wu Yufei, "It has nothing to do with you. This Lin Che is poisonous." The industry already gave in to Lin Che. She always had her own way of doing things that were fresh and creative. The moment she appears, she would definitely become the media's focus of attention. Because she had some kind of magic on her. Actually, she did. Whether a celebrity could continue being popular had nothing to do with beauty. The main thing one needed to have was uniqueness. Lin Che's two-character name felt very personal to fans. It was special, interesting, and humorous. Anyway, she was simply different from those cheap goods outside. Moreover, Lin Che liked to mock herself once in a while. When she didn't, others would mock her. This ridiculing around made her lovable. In addition, Lin Che was indeed rather pretty. Also, her acting was not bad for every show she acted in. Based on her acting skills, her personality, and uniqueness, she was naturally popular. It was only a pity that Liang Shan would never find such a good artist in his life. But as a rival, this would be his most hated type. Damn it, what bad luck we have. Forget it, never mind, we'll go our own way. Don't bother about her. Liang Shan could only comfort Wu Yufei. You couldn't help it either. It has nothing to do with your popularity. It's only because you bumped into Lin Che. It's not like you don't know that Lin Che is simply like this. Never mind, let's go to the film festival. Wu Yufei could only be sad. She wanted to go by another route, but look at what happened now. Nobody gave a hoot about her. How embarrassing was this? The next time she met Lin Che, she would really have to stay far away from her. When Lin Che got on the car, she saw the top searches online and realized that she actually announced her relationship. What? Since when did I announce my relationship? I just said I had a boyfriend. These people. The potential boyfriends they chose were not even close to the real one. Chapter 1159. He came of his own accord. It has nothing to do with me. Mu Feiren said, alright. Isn't that what they want? You said that you were with a guy, so of course, they would say that you're announcing your relationship. And don't worry, they'll definitely ask you who exactly it is. They'll pester you until you spit it out. I didn't expect this, it really was just a casual remark. She was not used to lying and she always evaded the topic. Who knew that this time? Mu Feiren shook her head and said, however, the media completely tossed Wu Yufei aside just now. They are probably very pissed off now. Lin Che held her hands up innocently. It's their own fault for always pitting themselves against us. We never wanted to make enemies. They kept coming at us for no reason and it's so annoying. Yeah, they don't care about their reputation if it means more profit. It was the same in my previous company. Talking about it, Mu Feiren had a hint of mockery in her voice. Lin Che said, don't worry. We care about more than that. You'll never have to go back to a bad place like that again. Mu Feiren took her hand. Lin Che talked about their upcoming itinerary and Mu Feiren naturally agreed to it. However, Lin Che did not say that Black Eagle was coming along. She'd have to explain it when the time came. It was all the same, anyway. Furthermore, her intuition told her that Mu Feiren would agree to Black Eagle going too. The film festival awards were in progress. When it was Nisheng's turn, Lin Che went on stage with the other original creators to receive the award. The host looked at Lin Che and quickly asked a few questions. Lin Che smiled and said, thank you, everyone, for allowing me to reappear with a new status this time. Our next season will definitely be better. The host quickly asked, will you still be acting? Of course, I will. I'll be making a comeback. Thank you, everyone. Lin Che did not say a lot. She did not want to steal the spotlight from everyone, although none of them would have minded. They were all very close and nobody minded these things. After that, at the celebration party backstage, Lin Che sat at the table with everyone and received many congratulatory greetings. At this moment, Liang Shan also joined in. Oh my, Lin Che. Lin Che stood up. She did not know this person yet. Beside her, Mu Feiren said, this is Brother Liang. He is a reputable agent in the industry. Although Lin Che had never met him, she had previously heard of him. She smiled and said to him, oh, Brother Liang. Hello, I've heard plenty about you. Haha, I wanted to say hello at the airport just now, but you were surrounded by too many reporters. We weren't able to go over. Really, we didn't notice it when we arrived. Sorry. No, you guys are too popular. You were surrounded by reporters and fans. Of course, we couldn't go over. Haha, you're really too kind. Not at all. Come, Yufei, come here and get to know your senior. Senior Lin is so great. You'd better learn from her. Wu Yufei came forward and looked at Lin Che and Mu Feiren. She was clearly nervous. Lin Che and Mu Feiren looked at one another. They smiled and greeted Wu Yufei. Such a direct introduction, was he showing off right in front of them? Lin Che beamed and asked, "Really, haven't you been learning from us? We may have started 2 years earlier, so we do have some experience. Please, learn all you can." It wasn't the first time they mimicked Lin Che's company's model. Hearing them say that, Liang Shan did not feel happy at all. He laughed and asked, "Is that so? That's just a coincidence, but Yufei will definitely learn from her seniors. After all, she is still young and doesn't know anything yet. That's the bad thing about being young. Sigh, she has to learn everything. Do you see it? You're just meeting a senior and you're already so scared." Was he using age as an advantage? Sure enough, it was the same for every generation. Lin Che had long ago played with this method too. Laughing, she said, "Yes, please learn. I hope you'll still be as lively as me when you reach my age now." Hearing this, Liang Shang narrowed his eyes at her. How arrogant. But what she said was right. She had been active for many years and was still so active. That was something not just any star could do. Those who debuted at the same time as she did already disappeared, leaving her the last one standing. That only meant one thing. She could very likely become an S-list celebrity. And become the true queen. That was not something one film award could determine. One needed to truly become queen. Just like Mu Feiren, who was on top for more than a decade. She only quit because she didn't want to continue acting anymore. This was the method that required years to leave a mark in history. At this moment, Liang Shan felt that he could not use such artists for his own gain. It was best to take them down early. Now, it was really troublesome. It would not be easy to take her down. It would also take more than a couple of years to outcompete her. He looked at Lin Che deeply and then left. Lin Che's group checked into the hotel. At night, Lin Che's appearance was immediately captured by many big media companies. Lin Che's office also already answered a few questions, saying that Lin Che planned to continue filming reality shows. They were going to commence filming Broke Tourists soon. Then, they would slowly pick a script. This was the plan for the crew for now. Everything else would depend on where the wind took them. On Lin Che's side, she said that she would make a comeback. Over there, scripts were already mailed to her inbox. However, Lin Che really did not have the time to read all of them. For a day she spent here, she had already received a few scripts. Mu Feiren looked and said, "It's your comeback drama. Choose wisely." Lin Che said, "My mind is still in a mess. I'll take my time to see." Just then, she heard some noises outside. Lin Che asked, "What time is it already? What's going on outside?" They had booked a resort hotel. Thus, they booked a villa at the hotel. The group stayed at the villa, which was more comfortable. At this moment, sounds came from the outside and they saw a car pulling up at the door. Lin Che asked surprisingly, "Who is it?" The person outside already got down the car and knocked on the door. Lin Che took a look. Wasn't that Black Eagle? Why was Black Eagle here? Lin Che naturally understood that it was all for Mu Feiren, but what was he doing now? Lin Che opened the door and asked, "What are you doing?" Black Eagle asked, "Didn't you say we're going on a trip? I looked up your itinerary and it said that you would set out today and be out for a week. Let's choose a place and go." What, leaving just like that? Was he out of his mind? How did you get our itinerary? Their itinerary was at the office. How did he get access to it? But it was not unimaginable. He probably sent someone to interrogate at the office. Behind, Mu Feiren was also extremely surprised. Mr. Mo is going too. Lin Che turned around and said, "Don't look at me," he insisted on coming. Chapter 1160 Black Eagle was your brain kicked by a donkey. Black Eagle said, "Lin Che told me to pay for it." Lin Che immediately became speechless. This Black Eagle was so good at pretending. But looking at Mu Feiren, she could only laugh and say, "Feiren, it's okay. Some people are willing to fork out the money. How can we reject them? Let's go. Since you are here, let's pack up and leave." Mu Feiren was going to ask what was happening, but Lin Che already quickly turned back and pulled her inside. She told the company that they were not going to follow the group, as they were preparing to holiday for a few days. Nan Gongyu glanced at the car outside and smiled, saying sourly, well, you are already abandoning us. I was wondering who it might be, but it was the big shot coming to fetch you. Lin Che said, you can continue to be sour. If I am competent, I will also introduce another big shot to pick you up. Haha, sure. Then, you better clean your butt and wait here. Ha, Mu Feiren burst out into laughter first. Nan Gongyu said, sure. If the big shot is great enough, I don't care about gender or if it's top or bottom. Deal, you'll need to let me take a photo of your butt. I'll help you apply and see if anyone likes it. Alright, you guys are too hardcore. Mu Feiren could not stand it any longer, but Nan Gongyu still crossed his arms and glared at her there. Others from the company took a look and immediately understood when they saw that it was Black Eagle who came to fetch Mu Feiren. Because Black Eagle had been pursuing Mu Feiren for such a long time, they were already used to it. Thus, they just made some noise and watched the two goddesses leave. Lin Che and Mu Feiren were in Black Eagle's car. Black Eagle asked them to choose a location. Lin Che did not have any idea at all since she was fine with going anywhere. Her main aim was to get Black Eagle and Mu Feiren together. Black Eagle directly said, then let's go to the island. I know an island that is pretty good. That's fine. Since you're paying, you'll call the shots. We will go wherever you say we are going. Lin Che laughed. Although she did not need money, she still felt good ensnaring rich people's money. Lin Che gave Gu Jingze a call to decide to meet up at the southern seashore. After waiting at the shores for a while, she saw a ship sailing over. Damn, it looked weird. Lin Che immediately turned to look at Black Eagle. Is this ship a cruise? Black Eagle glared at her. Why do you care so much? It's fine as long as it can send you there. Lin Che still felt like something was wrong. The ship felt like it was different from the cruise she took in the past. It was the same size, but the exterior looked so tough. Just then, a voice came from behind. This is a naval vessel. Gu Jingze came. Gu Jingze just alighted the car and was walking towards them. Lin Che was first surprised after seeing Gu Jingze, but then she immediately recalled what he said. What was this? A naval vessel? Lin Che asked, hey, why did you get a naval vessel here? This is faster. Black Eagle coolly said, let's go. I struggled to get this, but now, we can get there quickly. Where are the children? Gu Jingze replied, they are behind and will arrive soon. As he finished his sentence, sure enough, Union, Nianian, and the little one that was just born were brought over. Lin Che immediately walked over to carry the child. Nianian saw the vessel in front and quickly came closer. Isn't this a naval vessel? Black Eagle replied. Why, do you want to steer it? Gu Shinian immediately nodded. Lin Che yelled at the back. No, it's so dangerous. Black Eagle said, don't worry. This is not dangerous. The radar can detect hidden reefs, and there are not many hidden reefs here on our path anyways. Don't worry. I said, no means no. Do you still want to go? Lin Che glared at Black Eagle intensely. Black Eagle could only give up while crossing his arms and giving a look of distaste. He hugged Gu Shinian and said, it's okay. You can come find uncle next time. I have a lot of goodies. No, Lin Che immediately said, Nianian, don't play with your uncle. Black Eagle speechlessly asked, what did I do? Lin Che narrowed her eyes and glared at him. What do you think you have done? He was so unreliable. How could he say that he did not do anything? He was so rash and handled so many dangerous items. How could Nianian go over safely? Gu Shinian looked at Black Eagle deeply and did not say anything. Gu Jingze naturally saw it but did not bother with it. He came over to carry the baby and said, let's go. The crowd walked towards the naval vessel. Lin Che took a look. The vessel was huge and on it there really were soldiers. Naturally, naval vessels were not allowed to be driven out with no reason, unless there were servicemen on board. Lin Che could not help but ask, "Hey, how did you bring such a thing over to ferry us?" Black Eagle said, "There were no other ships available, so I borrowed one from someone." He was really shameless to a certain degree. Lin Che thought she really wanted to see how he borrowed things from others in person next time. Why was everyone so generous towards him and would simply lend him things? Or was it his attitude that made people obliged to lend things to him? At the back, Gu Jingze said leisurely, "This vessel has such good equipment. You borrowed the 387 naval vessel?" Black Eagle said, "Yes." Gu Jingze asked, "You directly borrowed from Commander Liu?" "Yes." Lin Che asked, "Who is that?" Gu Jingze said, "The Commander-in-Chief." Lin Che rolled her eyes. This Black Eagle was really fearless. Black Eagle replied, "Ah, we go back a long time. He knows that I wouldn't damage it since I am only bringing people around. Furthermore, I told him that I am bringing you, Gu Jingze's wife and her children outside, so isn't it safer to take the naval vessel and army along?" Gu Jingze's face darkened. "Next time, I will tell him not to listen to your bullshit. Am I not speaking the truth?" Gu Jingze did not bother replying to him. He immediately told Nianian, "Next time, don't play with your uncle." Very good. Even Gu Jingze felt this way. Nianian raised his head up and looked at Black Eagle, thinking he was quite formidable. It was his first time on a naval vessel. It really felt different. Sure enough, it was a lot faster and quickly arrived at the island. There was only one town on the island, which was a tourist attraction, so it was very crowded. Everyone arrived at a vacation villa he booked. After going inside, there was not a single person. Lin Che was still grumbling. "The villa is so empty. Are you sure you chose the right place?" Black Eagle raised his eyes and looked at her. "Why, I purposely chose the most popular villa. Why is there not a single person? I was afraid that you would think it is too noisy with the crowd, so I chased them all out." What a bandit. Lin Che thought she gradually could not understand Black Eagle's way of thinking anymore. She had never seen such an embarrassing person. Why would he think differently from everyone else on every matter?